Hey guys, it is Kate here from Hello Funnels and welcome to episode 153 of the Doing It Online podcast. Now today we are going into a whole new level of nerdy and I'm really quite excited about it. Today we are actually going to start to dive into the big bad world of ChatGPT. Now, before any of you click off and go, ew, gross, bro marketing, crazy bots, whatever, hear me out. I had that initial reaction too. When all of the stuff started coming up about ChatGPT, I rolled my eyes pretty hard, I will admit. And I feel like there's almost like these four phases that everyone kind of has to go through. I mean, obviously some people when they first heard about it just went, oh my God, this is so exciting. And they dived right in. But for a lot of us, we heard about it and we're like, oh, more automated content, less humanness, less authenticity, less realness. Like the internet already feels like it's so full of BS. Like, isn't this just going to mean that we're going to be drowning in uninteresting, unconnecting content? And the answer is, well, kind of yes, because obviously some people are going to just jump on this bandwagon. They're going to be just smashing out pretty mediocre content and flooding the internet with it, but that's nothing new. There's already a whole lot of that going around. However, I think the next kind of phase of the ChatGPT sort of levels of awareness is when you start to hear about people who are actually having some success with it and actually finding ways that it can really, really improve their business in a way that kind of fits in and aligns with how you like to do business. And everyone likes to do business differently, so I'm not going to go and assume that what you want to do is the same as what I want to do. But for me, I mean, I am coming from a writing background. I was a journalist and a copywriter. I've written thousands of pieces of content, tens of thousands, since oh my gosh, I'm going to date myself, since the mid 2000s when I, started writing for a job. So for me, I'm immediately going, how can a bot sound like a human? Like, the content I love the best is the stuff that's a little bit offbeat, a bit quirky, that shares a bit about, who that person really is. And it's not something that's just smashed out following some kind of formula. I'm like, how can a bot do that? But when I start to hear people saying, oh, actually, I've been able to get the bots to sound pretty close to me, or at least 85% of the way there, and it's saving hours and hours and hours for myself and my team when it comes to creating content. Well, that piques my attention. And, of course, I am a nerd. I love tech tools, and it's specifically tech tools that can help us to run our businesses and our lives in a more automated, systemized way that kind of, frees up the time to be able to do the stuff that you actually love, but without then sacrificing from the, what's actually happening in your business, what's being outputted by your business. So it comes to the third, I think, level of just, delving into ChatGPT, which is okay, I'm going to go give this a try. So I did that, and I went and Googled a couple of prompts. I'm like, what even are prompts? And I put them in, and I got this real generic ass, sounds like Larry the car salesman kind of stuff spitting out of it. And I was like, oh, surely this isn't it. This isn't what people were so excited about. And I kind of went away, and as a lot of you know, I've recently created a whole new program. So I was not getting distracted by the shiny new thing. I've got to finish creating program content, got to make sure that that's as amazing as possible for our new clients as they come and join us in Elite. But I still kind of had this thing, I was like, play with me, come over here, come play with me. And so I, on one of those days that we all have when I was just heavily procrastinating from doing what I really should have been doing, I thought, okay, I'm going to actually go and play. And I deep dived. I went down a rabbit hole. I think I came up for air 12 hours later. I'd watched half of YouTube in that time. I've read guides. I bought a bunch of, because as soon as you start going down that rabbit hole, of course, good old Facebook and everything starts serving you up $7, 1,000 chat, whatever, 1,000 prompt lists and all this stuff. So I bought a few of those. Started playing with them. A lot of them still wasn't getting me where I wanted, but piece by piece, I started to kind of pieces started to fall into place, and I started to be getting better and better and better outputs. And by the end of that, my gosh, the stuff that's coming out of it, I actually if I sort of had, made ChatGPT do what it needed to do, and it spat me out like a sales page, and then I forgot about it and came back and read it a couple of weeks later, which I am prone to do. I'm pretty forgetful. I probably wouldn't have known that wasn't something that I hadn't created myself. Like, it was really, really bang on and just super insightful. Like, on top of the tone being able to sound really spot on, which is one of the trickier pieces. The fact that it was able to, like, it knew which benefits to highlight and why, and it knew, how to talk about certain things. And it's pretty smart. So that kind of brought me down onto phase 4 of ChatGPT, which is, I think, the obsessed phase, where you just kind of go, okay, well, now I figured out how to do this well. How can we make it do everything well? And again, trying to rein myself in, trying to not to get distracted. Still haven't finished creating all my course content yet. So, trying to ignore that shiny thing too much, but I can really, really see the potential. And so we've actually been already going through and sitting down and figuring out what the prompts and the inputs and stuff that need to be to go in for our clients. So, and this is like what really, really excites me, besides it, being able to really massively reduce our time workload and mean that we can speed up what we're doing for our clients. Because I know a lot of them, like, they come into our programs, they're coming in to create a funnel. What do you need in a funnel? You need a shitload of content, okay? And we always try and make it as easy as possible. We're all about repurposing where you can. We have scripts, we have templates, all that stuff. But imagine if instead of any of that, you could go through a process, probably about 15 minutes, and have your entire funnel sequence written. It sounds like it's following an exact strategy that's been proven to convert. Like, that kind of thing, that makes me super, super excited. So we've been going through and getting this set up, and we're going to start adding this into our programs. However, I want to talk a bit more about how you can do it today if you're not in one of our programs. And I want to give you some tips to be able to get started. So first of all, before we jump into that, there's sort of 2 things that you need to know about ChatGPT. One is that it's only, like, it is still a robot. And while yes, it can go and you say, like, write it in this type of launch style or this type of marketing style, like, I think for it to be truly effective, you still have to have a good strategy behind it, not just try and use, not just try and kind of like grab onto one of their cookie cutter ones that it's gone and grabbed, it's grabbed off the internet, and you need to be able to input that into it. So you need to have the strategy. You need to know, all right, what emails are we sending when, like, what and why are we sending those emails in? Like, you need to have that sort of structure, particularly when it comes to like launch emails, funnel emails. Don't just go in there and say, write me a 5-day, 7 email launch sequence. It can, but it's just very generic, very, very generic. And that's, people are going to click out of that. They're going to unsubscribe. Like, it's not going to do what you want it to do. So once you know, all right, well, once you have like a good strategy behind it, then the real key is, okay, how do you learn how to speak ChatGPT to be able to ask it to use that strategy, to create content that follows that strategy, and that still sounds like or even like a better version of you, which I think for those people who aren't from a copywriting background, aren't writers, is probably going to be even better again. So, that's probably the place we want to start with. So I've got 3 tips for you for that. Before we dive into tips though, I just want to say, like, in case you can't tell, I am so excited about this. I'm so excited that we're actually going to, like I said, we're adding it into our programs, and I'm also adding it in. We already had planned a free live coaching session for this month, and I've gone and rewritten the whole thing, more procrastination, to include, when it comes to creating your funnels, how you can actually use ChatGPT inside that. And I've also included in that my 3 favorite prompts to get you started. So we're going to be going through like the best funnels for your offers, making sure how to know your offer is funnel friendly, and the tweaks you can make around your pricing and your setup to make sure that it sells with ease. And then also how you can get started with a ChatGPT to help you actually create that super quickly. So if you want to come along, if you want to nerd out with me, it's a live training session. Just head to hellofunnels.co/coaching, save your seat. It's next week. Save your seat, jump in. I'm really excited about this, and I can't wait to see you guys there. So back to the tips. Now that you've gone and done that, So first thing I would get you to do if you're brand new to the world of ChatGPT, first little exercise I think is to actually go and find a previous sequence of emails that you really loved of yours. So whether a copywriter wrote them for you or you wrote them yourself, and preferably like a sales sequence. So if you had a launch recently and it went quite well, grab those emails, put them into a single doc so you can just copy and paste them, and just make sure they're labeled like email 1, email 2, email 3, etc. So it knows, like, again, it's a robot, but you've got to make sure that you're clear. Then pop it into ChatGPT and ask it to just rewrite them for you, just to straight rewrite them, like nothing else. It's like going, the prompt would be something along the lines of, I'm going to paste a 7-day email sequence below, please rewrite them, or write another version of these. Do that. See what comes out and just have a read of it. So first of all, for a lot of people, like particularly if you're launching the same offers regularly and you know that there's certain emails that you've got to send, like your FAQs email, or your here's the details of the offer email, or your carts are closing, like last chance kind of emails, right? It's quite often the same thing, just finding new and different ways to say it each time. So within less than 60 seconds, you could have your entire launch sequence rewritten. And if you read something and go, don't love them, you can ask them to do it again. So it can just like forever and ever come up with new versions for you. So that's the first thing that I would do to get started, and see how that feels. See how you like the tone, how that comes out. Next thing to do, and this is just kind of playing, guys, like this is all just kind of like getting you to dip your toe and kind of see what's possible. Next is get your robot, get ChatGPT, ask it to rewrite the emails in a different style. So you say, rewrite these emails in the style of, or in the tone of. So you can say things like in a cheeky tone, in a funny tone, in a, what I really love is to actually go and have a think about a celebrity who's really active on social media, who might have a tone of voice that you kind of resonate with and that you kind of feels like you on your best day. So have a look around, and maybe, I know a lot of people are loving like Jonah Hill for sort of like dry comedy, and or Gary Vee for like super motivational, no bullshit kind of tone. Like think about that. Like obviously you don't want to be pretending to be that person, but if you can find someone, and one little tip is they need to have been famous before 2021. Apparently that's kind of the ChatGPT, like it's really, really proficient on everything before 2021. All the newer stuff, it's not quite as doesn't have quite the same depth of knowledge. So it's someone who's been around for a while, and just simply ask it to rewrite those emails in that tone. Even just for S&Gs, you can ask them to rewrite it as Shakespeare if you want to, and it will. So you can, and you'll start to see with this, like some of these really popping. I mean, it would be hilarious to see what would happen if you sent a launch sequence as Shakespeare, but I probably wouldn't want to risk that one. And hopefully from that, you would have enough that you go, I really like that one, I really like that one, I like this one. And now you're going to go through, spend a minute or two making them sound consistent, copy paste, there's your sequence, done again. Now, the third thing that I think is really, really cool about how ChatGPT works is you can ask it to interview you. So if you have a new offer, or if you've got a new product, or if you're wanting to include a personal story or something like that, being able to put in prompts, asking it to interview you, asking it to ask you the questions it needs to be able to give you the output that you want and create the things you want, is so cool, because it's like being interviewed. Like it'll ask you a question, you can pop in your response. The response doesn't need to be particularly grammatically correct. I've copied and pasted random bits out of like my bio when it asked me to tell it more about myself, or like I copied and pasted like a chunk out of a blog post and stuck it in. It's fine as long as the information is the information it needs. And then once you've done that, it's learned all of those things, and you'll then be able to ask it to go, okay, you've now interviewed me, you know everything about my offer, you know everything about me and my story and my journey. Okay, now write me an email that explains why I created this offer. Write me an email that that shares one of the big benefits of my offer and also relates it to this case study, like that kind of thing. Like that's what I meant, guys, by saying you need to have that strategy behind what goes into what email. and you need to know how to ask it in the right way to get the outputs. But once you do know that, once you do know exactly how to ask those things, it's very, very similar to if you were to sit down, it kind of like really struck me, because this is exactly how we plan out, any of our funnel emails, or if we've got a promotion. Like, I would sit down with my content creator and we go, all right, this is the emails that we need. So the first one, what are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about this and this, and let's share this great case study. So it's the same, but you're just putting it into the ChatGPT. And now some people, again, it depends on exactly what your tone is, what your, how high your standard is. And I'm not saying that there's a good or bad standard here, but if you are coming from a writing background, you're probably going to want to go in there and still, it's probably going to get you like 85% of the way there with what you can get out of ChatGPT, and then you're going to come in and finesse it. But for a lot of people, if writing is not your zone of genius, it might be better than what you could have done anyway, and it's just saved you hours and probably thousands of dollars. And I'm not here to put my amazing copywriter friends out of business, because there's a time and a place for both. But I think as you're getting started in your business, when speed is so important, when you don't have a bunch of time or resources to spare, this is going to be a super game changer. So like I said, guys, I'm nerding out on this big time. We're adding it into all of our programs, so that literally step by step, as people go through, as they're creating funnels, creating webinars, we're putting it in so that you can use ChatGPT to help you save a ton of time. And if you want to geek out on this more, and the actual funnel strategy and stuff behind it, make sure you come along to our free live training and coaching session next week. It's live, it's about 90 minutes. We're value packed. We're going to do hot seat style coaching at the end, so you want to hang around, and you just need to go to hellofunnels.co/coaching. Save your seat, and I will see you there, guys. So hope this has been useful. If it has, make sure you DM us, you share it. It means a ton when you do, and I can't wait to see you on that workshop next week.